Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I am so glad you are here. I hope you like what you see, and I would love to know more about you and what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you ever so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to watch and hang out with me and just chat stitching with me. So thank you very much. I have a little bit less today. We'll see if it is a shorter video because, you know, I go on and on about my projects because I love them so much. But we did have company all week this week, as you know, and I did get stitching in because, we were still kind of hanging out. And sometimes I would stitch while people are hanging out or, everybody's doing stuff. And in the evenings, I got some time. So there is stitching, just not as many projects as I normally do. So we'll see. Let's jump right in. I do have a extra video that came out this week. If you see my videos, like if you're subscribed, and they come up in your subscriptions, I did a flip through of the autumn 2024 Just Cross Stitch magazine. So if you'd like to see a flip through and I talk about the projects and we talk about maybe other ways to tackle them or ideas how to use them, then you can just go. Right now it's the video before this one, but if you're watching it later, I have a playlist of flip through videos. So if you go to that playlist, you'll see all of them and then you just pick the one you want. So that's there. All right, let's jump right in. So the very first piece I have to show you, and I generally, unless I'm doing them for, say, what's the event? The riff off, where one thing jumps off of another, or the Olympics if it was certain days. But normally otherwise, I just pull out some projects and I iron them and don't really have a specific order. So in no particular order, as people like to say. The first one I'm going to show you is Blue Rhapsody, and that is from Rosewood Manor. This is my very first Rosewood Manor. I started it last December. Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, had a birthday stitch along, and it was hashtag Rosewood Manor BD Sal. I don't know if the stitch along is still going on. I never know if they have ends, like if they stop, or do they just go forever, or can you just jump on? I don't know. So I'm using this hashtag until I am told that it's no longer being used. So that's what that one is. And let me show you. I really like these Rosewood Manor ones. That's where it is. It's kind of funny light today. So let me go back here for a second. That's 18 count Darling David. Oh gosh, it's definitely, this color is kind of, oh yeah, look at that, blowing out a bit, from those missing stitches. Oh, that's about good. And as you can see, I kind of jump around. So I had to finish off the second color. There's two colors. I like this series in Rosewood Manor. There's a blue, there's a green, there's kind of a pinkish red, and I know I have the green for sure. So at some point, I'd give that one a go too. But I like these two color ones. Now they are charted in, I don't know, was it weeks? Yeah. And I use DMC alternatives. So the darker color is the darker color is 336 and the lighter blue is 931. So I finished the darker part of this. I got the entire X. I have almost all of Y. I just have to do a little bit there. I wanted to start coming down here a little bit because, as you can see, there's some fun stuff down this way. So I wanted to jump down there, but I did finally finish. The butterfly is completely finished. And I have to tell you, this would be a beautiful single stitch. If you needed or wanted to stitch a butterfly for something, I could totally see stitching that. That is beautiful. So except for this corner, then this element will be done. But as you know, I like to jump all around. Yeah, this might be a challenge today. This one is just one I jump around and whatever happens to appeal to me at the given time. There's a corner page break here, which is of course part of probably why you have seen me skip it and procrastinate with that part, but I will. One of these days I'll just kind of buckle down. But I do love a lot of the elements in here, so I could just see jumping around just to get to some of them. So that is Blue Rhapsody from Rosewood Manor. Alrighty. Alrighty, so let's put that one back. And moving on. Okay, next. So this one here, I just so enjoy stitching this. And this one I was able to stitch while chatting with family members. So it was a good one. You know, obviously I had to think about what could I stitch while I'm talking, you know, and not completely mess up. And this was one of them. It's Lighthouse, and it is from Cottage Garden Samplings. I know that, but I have to check anyway. This is the series this year, and this is it number 8? Yes, of this houses. So it's number 8, and it's Lighthouse. Now I started this one for the Let Your Lighthouse Shine Sal, and that's being run by Andrew, the runner stitcher, Alex, who on Instagram is Salex. Alex, you have a number after your name? It'll go in the description box below. I'll list everybody I mentioned, including Instagram handles. And Laura from Lila D Stitches. Now I believe all 3 of them are starting this one, which is Comfort Lighthouse. I believe it's called Comfort Lighthouse, and it is from Carriage House Samplings. I stitched this. This is one I stitched pretty long ago. I think it's one of the Zweigart colors. This is before I even jumped into hand-dyed fabrics. And for the, you know, like the independent and hand dyers. And then I scrapbooked it, so you can see I played along with the dots, and that is a dotted background and just the things. So I thought that would be fun to put that up in celebration of their stitch along, since theirs is coming along quite nicely. And I had picked this one for the Lighthouse. You know how much I love stitching lighthouses, so that wasn't a problem. And that's what I have so far. I know it doesn't look like it, but this huge chunk here, this light, as you can see, this light has a lot of different designs and stitching to it. This is a paper pattern, so I'm, you know, don't have like a full count. I do count my stitches as I go. I did get at least 400 stitches in this week, and it was just this huge chunk right here. I had some more yellow to fill in, and then I think I carried that yellow a little bit here. But this big chunk of white stitching, I'm telling you, that's a lot of stitches. So that's where I got to. I think as I'm doing this, I wanted to see what that color, which is why I did that. I'll probably bring this in and finish that, and then maybe work here, and then I don't know which way I'll go. I love this guy. He's so spunky. So I'm looking forward to stitching him. So that's where I got. This is 18 count Compelling Conchis, and it is also from those missing stitches. And I love it for the nautical pieces when I stitch them, because the white pops and a lot of the different nautical colors really look nice on it. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that stitch quite a bit. It's funny, when I was doing this and getting my notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 8 projects you'll see all have hashtags to them. So it was definitely a stitch along heavy week, but you know, that's fun. It's fun sometimes. Sometimes I'm hosting them. Sometimes I just hop on and say, I'm coming along for the ride with you. And so it's just a lot of fun that way. This one is from the Just Cross Stitch. I want to say it's spring. Let me double check. Spring 2024. So this is what the front cover looks like. I started back with a subscription because I had started to see different projects, and I said, I want to give it a go. Actually, not started the subscription. Otherwise, I was just buying some individual ones. And I've so far really enjoyed the subscription this year so far. This one is called Current Mood. It was designed by Lee Fisher of Stitchy Fish Designs. And that's what it looks like. Now, I started this with Devi from Glitter. Oh, Devi, I do this all the time. I think it's Glitter Dove Fairy. She's on Instagram. She'll also be linked below. Sandy from Stitching with Sandy. Carla from Carla Being Crafty. Allie from Lost Our Needles. Yes, 1, 2, 3. I think that's off the top of my head. That's who I could remember. And all of us, either it's finished in some cases or not quite yet. All of us are doing it differently, which I think is the coolest thing ever. And that's what I loved about this idea, that you can personalize this perfectly. This was before I started flip throughs. I think I started flip throughs in the summer, but I know if I had talked about this one, that would have been, you could personalize the fabrics and you could certainly personalize the colors. Now I drew my inspiration, and I want to show you the picture, from the crayon art that used to be a thing on Pinterest. And so I grabbed a picture just to see, just show you. So my colors are the primary colors similar to this. And right now I'm following it along. I'm debating on making some of the bottom colors kind of come up a bit. And then, because there's what would be considered kind of grass here. So anytime you have the grass bits, I might do whatever color that is at that point. My goal this time around was to get just all of the main colors, which I did. So let me show you that. And that's what it looks like. This is an 18 count. It didn't have a name. It was from To Die For Fabrics, but it was the summer. So it wouldn't have been this summer, last summer when she was hand dyeing fabrics. She did a bunch that were unnamed and you could just pick them up. And that's what this one happened to be. Oh gosh, it's a blue. Any of the lighter colors are gonna kind of blow out this morning. Oh well, is the way it is. So you can see here, I have 6 primary colors that I chose. If you were interested in knowing them, I'd be happy to give them to you. I did start here, the girl, because I wanted to make sure I had all of my lines properly done. And I might, so in the stitch here, it's mostly black and then a little bit of, what did they chart that as? Just a 3024 on DMC, a light gray. I might do a deeper gray, not like dark gray, because I was debating on a full silhouette, but I think I don't want a full silhouette. I do want a little bit of contrast. So I might just go a little bit darker than what they call for, but still have a contrasting color. So you can see here, this is where it comes down, and then it's charted to have, I don't know, 2 or 3 more rows of the black. And then that would come, you know, the different strands would come up. So I'm thinking I might stitch up to where there's purple, that, and then we go with the blue. And then obviously here there's nothing because there's nothing in the chart. And then we would come over here. On the girl itself, it came down under the umbrella, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep it more to what the design was charted, designed as. So it's coming along. I think I might do her next and then tackle the bottom part last, just to figure out exactly how I want to do it. So we'll see. Coming along though. And that was my inspiration, but it's really kind of neat how everybody took a different way of tackling that project, and they all look so cool. And I know Devi is done, and I know Sandy is done. I do not know about Carla or Allie. I can't remember. You know, I may have seen it finished and then it's gone in my brain. But it's so fun, so much fun. So if you want to join along on that, there is a hashtag. It's hashtag Spring Showers Sal. And because I kept calling it Spring Showers, even though it's called Current Mood. So we ended up just calling it that instead. So, alrighty, next. This one is the stitch that you know that I have to do every week. Now, I had kind of figured out if I did 150 stitches a day, then I could get it done. I have to talk a little quieter because Mo is below me downstairs. I could get it done by our anniversary. Well, this week, obviously, I got some. I had a goal and I did reach that, so I'll show you. And I can't stitch it when he's around because he would notice. This is very obvious and it would jump out kind of thing. So it's not, it's going to have a few days rest again. So I might have to recrunch some numbers and figure out, it might be closer to 200 a day in September, but I'm at fill-in now. So let me show you. So this is being done on, it's a gray, what's it called? Slate. So, and it's a 20 count. So this is 20 count slate from Fiber on a Whim. So I am using Sulky and I'm using 1 strand. And I was pretty pleased. I think I was able to match the colors for the Sulkies pretty good. So my goal, when I saw you last, okay, that little star, which doesn't really count, the white was done. And I finished the animal. So that was done. So my next goal was to get this color done and get the whole frame. And I was a little worried. So I was coming down here and I was a little worried that I hadn't counted right because, you know, it's a border, basically. It's a frame. And we always worry about those things. I was never so happy. I figured I could fudge it if I had to. And I don't know if it would have been 100% noticeable, but luckily I didn't. Now, I did, from the picture, it did have a word down here. I brought this down a bit because I'm not putting the word in. But all I have left is just to fill in the blue. That's all that's here. So that would be super easy zoom stitching, super easy if I'm chatting, stitching, just because it's literally one color and I don't even have to follow the pattern anymore. I don't even need the pattern. I can just keep filling in. So I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that it will be stitched by the end of the month, by the end of September, I should say. So we will see. And I've told the story before about why I'm stitching this for our anniversary. If you're interested, I'm sure you could watch any of the other videos. And I'm sure at the very end, when I'm done, I'll reiterate what it was. So stay tuned on that one. Okay, zipping along here. I think this one will be a short one this week, but that's good because then I'll have, when I'm back with just Mo and myself, oh, we can do some stitching again. This one is August Poppy. I did want to do a little bit more on this one because the month ends, right? I mean, September 1st, right here this weekend. So it's important to maybe give myself a little bit more. I wanted to see, I knew it wouldn't finish this year. So this one is slated now for a 2025 finish. But I wanted to get a section done. And I ended up with my goal of trying to get all the words done. And I did it. I kind of hadn't. And I was kind of like, oh, I'll just leave it. It's not that much for next time around. But I pulled it out another day just to get the last little bits of words. So when the waves kiss your feet and the sand is your seat is the words. Now, as you can see, I stitched them all one color. I'm kind of liking that versus how they kind of throw in those. In a couple cases, I have pulled like a DMC variegated, and I am doing it that way on a few months. But this one, I thought this color went well. So everything on this side is completely stitched. At this point, as you can see, I've started up here with those flowers. The border is done all the way. So now it's just all of this middle part. So I think next August, or, well, definitely. I mean, I could pull it out for a challenge here and there, but obviously a challenge wouldn't be enough to finish all of this section here. But I have high hopes that next August, I'm hoping in 2025, all of them will be finished, and then I can scrapbook them in the collection. 18 count, what is this? Amber Waves from Atomic Ranch. I really like this color. I think things like the reds and the blues look nice. I will say that the white, it's not a one where the white really pops, a neutral where the white pops. But in person, you can see it, and you can see it enough because it's not integral to the entire piece. It's part of the border. It's waves underneath one of the words, and then obviously in here it's surrounded by colors. And then I don't think there's any white over here at all. So it works fine. If I had a pattern that was very heavy on the white, and I think I did change it to be 5200. I'm not 100% sure here. Let me see. No, I'm using Blanc. So I suppose I could have gone a bit lighter, but it's fine. But if I had something that was really heavy on, the very light white, whatever, I don't know if I would use this fabric if I wanted it to pop more. If you like it to blend in, which in sometimes, like with this pattern, it works, then it's fine. So yeah. So this one is obviously going away now as we come to the end of August, and I will pull out September. I did give a look at September. It did not get a lot of work done last year. So we'll see what I can do in this month. And then I think there'll be some heavy work that'll have to be done on that one in September if I'm going to see a finish in 2025. Some of them are farther along than others. I guess we could say that about most of our projects. So as we get to the end of the month, this will be the very first month, the only month I have not had a finish of some sort. whether it was big or small or anything. So I think that's pretty good every month up for the first 7 months. And then obviously most piece we want to finish in September. And there's 1 or 2 others that I think I could get September finishes. So then we'll get back on track to get some of those done. So this one right here, you know how much I love my dragon. This is Celtic Dragon, and it is 2x2 stitch art. And I started this in February for the hashtag Year of the Dragon Sal. Year of the Dragon is being hosted by Samantha, the Huga Stitcher, and Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada. And like I said, if you scroll down below in the description box, I have a section where I say Flosstubers mentioned, and that's where everybody will listed. I don't know if it was last video or the video before. For some reason, when I did the description, it didn't make them linkable. I don't know why, but they were there. So if nothing else, at least you can see their name. I'll see, hopefully I'll do what I can to make them linkable again this week. Alrighty. Now, besides Year of the Dragon Sal, so I pulled this one out on Monday for Monochromatic Monday. If you've been here, that Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, said, absolutely, let's jump on Monochromatic Monday, when I kind of mentioned it as a throwaway one video. And so Nancy has run with it, and I am just hitching a ride along with her. And so we are stitching monochromatic on Mondays. And so Nancy had a Zoom. If you follow her on Facebook, she has a Facebook group, The Disorderly Stitcher, and she has started to do some Zooms. And I said, well, I'm going to stitch on this, and it's monochromatic, and so how fun would it be to stitch with Nancy and all of the other stitchy friends that jumped on? So that's what I did. This is 18 count Phoenix, and it is from Bestitchme. And we did chat about this, and you know how I've been slowly kind of pulling back on the pattern. And stitchy friends, there's a split whether or not to stitch this part. So friends, I am listening to you. I'm going to stitch all of this and see what I think. I want to stitch all of the fourth wing dragons, well, of the main characters. And this is Zayden's dragon, so I want to make sure that I have proportion of pieces kind of right, kind of proportion thinking about the dragons themselves. This is really cool. And if I stitch it, I'm going to stitch it in a slightly darker. This is She's So Blue from Roxy Floss. And there's one that's called Planetarium that I think I would stitch kind of that moon with all the Celtic designs. Now, if I just stitch the dragon, it'll be done by the end of the Year of the Dragon, by next February. If I stitch this other part, no way at all. I gotta tell you, would it ever be finished in the year? That wasn't necessarily my goal, to be quite honest with you. What I might do is stitch the dragon and then wait, because I know what floss, and I think I've got it with the pattern. I know what I want to do with that. Maybe stitch the next dragon and then see how they look against each other and whether or not that would make sense. That might be what I do. But now, this was hundreds of stitches, about almost 400 stitches, and that's what I worked on during the Zoom. But that's what I'm telling you. If I do decide to do that other part, I mean, you're looking at it thinking, oh, that won't take you long. Yes, it will. If this right here is almost 400 stitches. So I still have to have that big kind of element there, the kind of Celtic knot looking item. So that's what's going to be here. And it's so much fun. I was able to put this on Pattern Keeper, made my life a lot easier. And especially for Zooms, I do like that, where I can just look right at it. And monochromatics for Zooms are my favorite. So that's where we are. And yeah, this one just comes out whenever I feel like it, to be honest with you. And of course, if there's challenges, it's a good one for some challenges. But if I'm just feeling in the mood for a monochromatic, this is one of the first ones. Although I got to tell you, Arabesque and Mary Poppins, they are top runners as well. All right, this next one is also digital. So let me see. This one is called, I don't know if it's called just Happy Halloween or something about a Halloween. This says Happy Halloween and Pumpkin Party. So I don't know exactly what the title is. It's from Jardin Prive. So if you go to the Jardin Prive website, that's how I got it. I got it as a digital pattern. Now, I've told you this before. I am not 100% sold on the words pumpkin party. So I'm going to stitch everything else instead. What I might do, for example, this bird, I might stick them on the top of, say, one of the pumpkins, and then I might replicate, maybe I do the bird over here or something, and I might replicate the bat and have them maybe going the other direction and stitch that over underneath here where the words are. What I'll do is I'll stitch everything else. I'm almost at the point where I can start some of the pumpkins, so I'm so excited to give that a try, and then we'll go from there. Now, I did start this one. I looked. It was October 1st, and you know in October, pumpkins mean hashtag pumpkin birthday Sal. Every year, and I don't know if I started it in 2020 or 2021. I'd have to look and see. October is my birthday month, and I love pumpkins and all the colors of autumn, and that includes all the pumpkin colors and everything else. So I started a stitch along. It's hashtag pumpkin birthday Sal. You can stitch on anything with pumpkins, pumpkin colors. So maybe your fabric is a pumpkin color or one of your flosses. There are other colors of pumpkins now if it's pumpkin adjacent. You know, it's just to have fun and to join in, and it is non-ending. So you could be doing this all year round. And my projects clearly roll over. I don't know. I think everything I started last October is still rolled over to this year. And I'm sure there'll be more. So this is where I'm at. This is 18 count. It's Ice Queen from Bestitchme. And I'm quite pleased. You can see here that the white does show up, which is really good because the large center pumpkin, if I'm looking at it, like the tall skinny one, is white. Now it will be between a greenish one and a giant orange one, but still it needs to kind of hold its own on this fabric, and I think especially in person it looks fine. So it's really gonna do good. This was one I was stitching while I was chatting, so there's not a huge amount that I got done, but I did almost finish the word Halloween. And then underneath that there's the big kind of swirly Q, and from there, if you see here, that's the big that I would tackle next. And then I'd probably start doing this pumpkin right here and get that one done. So, so yeah, this one, I really like this one. I'm a fan of Jardin Prive. I think you know that by now. I like how they chart. I like their patterns, and they're fun to stitch, to be honest with you. So this is not a huge one if you wanted to join for the pumpkin birthday stitch along. It's 120 by 120. So a nice little square. Once I have the pumpkin done here, you can see I kept it tight margins, really tight margins, but that's fine because I'll scrapbook this most likely. So probably a little tighter margins than I would have wanted if I was going to do any other type of finish. I kind of live on the edge when it comes to my margins sometimes, because I'm almost, actually this one's farther, so I could have started it, because that's how much I'll have on that side. So yeah, so really like that one. Certainly will be coming out now that we are hitting September and October. I think for October I'll pull out everything that I had started. I'd have to go back. I'm going to go back all the years that I've done Pumpkin Birthday and see what I've started in the Octobers, see what's still open and pending, project wise, and then see what else I want to stitch. And so it could be a very pumpkin heavy month, but that's okay. I don't mind. All right, last one. This is it. This is the last piece. Nope, that's summer Quaker. I did spring Quaker. All righty. This one right here is one of my 4 rotational pieces, and I stitch on each one for a week and 500 stitches, as much as if I can. I wasn't sure I'd get, I think I got 480 on this one. So if I had gotten, say, only 200 or 250, I would have pulled it out for another week, but I'm close enough to the 500 that I'm going to rotate next to, the next one you're going to see is Fish and Chips. But that's Spring Quaker from Lila Studio, and I am changing most of the colors. Certainly the colors of all of the main elements the large elements are all being changed. The word color was changed. I think like the bumblebees might be one of the bumblebees and the butterflies might be the only things that I have not changed the colors on, or a few of the other elements. I don't know. I do have the list of them. It's a mess. It's listed on my, when I printed this off, I have the list of the flosses, and I had first changed to another set, and then I crossed those out and I changed to these greens. And so it takes me a little time to just decipher it and read it, but I do have it. And I do believe I've listed in the description box. I think I've done the ones I know for sure that are like for sure. And then, for example, the words I did in a brown rather than a black. And then this I had done in a brown rather than a black because I felt the brown went nicer with the pink than the black. Black was a little stark. So let me show you the whole thing. Let me just do this. This is 18 count rose hips from Under the Sea fabric, and it's a very pretty pink. It's not an in-your-face pink. It's a really nice, just kind of general pink. And then let me fold over on this side because I didn't do anything. The other side I think is, except the bunny needs a carrot, but otherwise that entire side is done. So I focused really on here. I had a little bit left to do here. I had the butterfly up here to do. I had one of these letters to do. And then I came over here and I did the L and that extra, the B, and I started here. This will be easy here. There's like the beehive right over here, but that was the last thing I did, and that got me to like 480, and I kind of ran out of stitching time, so I said that's good. I had done some of this just to get that piece started. As if you've stitched these before, as you know, some of these elements are gorgeous, but they are very stitch heavy. So anytime I get a chance to get a little bit of them done, plus it's nice to get the border part done, and then I can play off some of the other things. I did change, I think I don't know if the border was in a white. You know, I think it was, but maybe I went to B5200. I think I did. Yes, to try to make it a little bit brighter. And I'm okay. It's going to blend in, but that border is not the focus of the piece. It's all the other beautiful things. And I did change slightly the color, I believe, of the outline of the bunny. And I don't remember if I changed the actual color of the bunny. That might be called for, but the outline I changed to more of a gray. And I really like how that looks. So all of them will be white, but other than that and the border, there's nothing else that needs to really pop with that. And I did just she has a specialty stitch that you can do the borders in. I just did straight X's, and I followed the design similar to what the specialty was. And then I kind of just in the corner, I made it up, and I have to fix this side. I forgot a couple stitches on this side. And I just made it a solid border. So 3 of the 4 borders are done. So when I get down here, I'll make sure I follow and get that finished. So yeah, this one's just plugging along. No end date. I don't even know if it'll get done in 2025. Certainly not in 2024. But it does get work every month. And so it does see 500 stitches in a month. And then sometimes I will pull them out for if something in one of the patterns is really obvious, I'll pull it out for a challenge too. So sometimes you see a couple of them in the course of a week. And for the challenge, I just do however number of stitches that the challenge calls for. So AB single, which we'll be talking about plans, is 100 stitches, just a minimum of 100. So if something gets called that I think would apply to this one, I would just do the 100 stitches if it's not on its weekly rotation. But let's just go right into plans, because that's all of my stitched parts. You see, usually it takes me a full hour to talk about my stitch pieces. So we are zipping. I did, you know, before we do plans, I did do the string, and I ended up, it's baker's twine, but you could use floss as well. I ended up doing the red on this one, and I ended up doing the blue on this one. Now, I know the ornaments themselves are kind of sparkly, and I mean, the twine is definitely a little stark with that. But the way I looked at it was these are considered ugly sweaters, and so that kind of is more of a sweatery material, so I thought it would be fun. So I did go with the red on that one, and then of course this one, the blue, worked. And then yesterday afternoon, I had a little bit of time to myself, and I just threw on a digital book. I'm finding I can actually listen to digitals easier when I do this kind of, I didn't shake it enough, a couple of the extra, the little teeny tiny micro beads just came off. I'm finding instead of with stitching, but with diamond painting, I can do the digital books. And so I did this one complete. So I did the whole thing. I did the called for all of the colors. Then I did the little tiny clear micro beads to do all the other areas that were sticky. And then I did do also the red on this one to pull in the red from the Christmas tree. So I'm up to 3 diamond painted ornaments done. Yay! There is a set, that is a set of 12 that I did get from Amazon. I don't know if I'll do all 12, to be honest with you. I probably have 8 or 9 in my list that I definitely want to do. Okay, so back to plans. I Spy is back, and I will be getting that up onto, by the time you see this, it might already be up on Facebook and my community tab in my, just on my page. So you don't have to be in Facebook. If you go to my community tab, I also list the prompts there. Whether or not the prompts will be there before or after this video is live, I'm not sure. But so you may already know about it, or it might be something new to you. If you are new to me, I have really enjoyed doing different types of games and challenges for stitching. So I created one myself called I Spy, and it's basically 10 prompts. And you take your projects, however many you have, and you try to spy whatever the prompt is on one of your projects. And you decide whether you want to count stitches, count time, count just one sit-down stitching session, or however you want to do it. It is completely wide open, and it really kind of a way for you to make it your own just by jumping off of these prompts. And so I try to do 10 each month. And that's what I have. I was working on them at the beginning of this week, and I have them all ironed out now. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to them. So that will be here. I'm also participating in AB Single. I've got my board all set, and that is part of the magazine monthly cross stitch challenge Facebook group. They do a kind of a bingo game in January, and then one here in September, along with whatever else they're doing. And so basically a letter gets pulled the night before, and then you have to make a connection to one of your projects. And like I said, it's only 100 stitches is what they ask for. I might do more than that, or I might not. Kind of depends on the day, at least to get the 100 stitches. A Magazine Monthly also usually has an acrostic that I like to jump off of, and then Crafts and Books, also on Facebook, is has an acrostic that I usually like to jump off of as well and do my projects. So those are 4 kind of game-like things. I'll see what Whip Warriors has, if there's something I can jump in on that. Whip Warriors is a closed group, but if you follow Lisa, Shady Trees Stitchers, she'll do every month at the beginning of the month, she does a video, usually with another stitchy friend, and they go through the different prompts from Whip Warriors, and then sometimes she does, oh, I know she does other places as well, but always starts with Whip Warriors and gives ideas for like the category letter and some of the other things that might be happening. And then the other prompt kind of challenge groups. And then a few times she has done for my I Spy as well. So this would be a chance for you to kind of say, ooh, I wonder if I could do Whip Warriors, because that is a group that requires participation and pictures and showing your work and all of that. And it would be a great way for you to try it, because Lisa will give you, she talks about the challenges, and that way you could see, oh, I really like this. In end of November, December, I'm going to join. Or maybe you're like, I like it, but I'm not good at keeping up with it. So maybe you just follow Lisa and pick and choose what you want from the challenges and join along when you can, but not actually be part of the group. I'm sure they would be happy with that as well, because they always say their goal is to get you stitching. So whether or not it's officially in the group or not, as long as you just don't call the games your own, I think it's fine. And just give them credit. But yeah, so that's a great way to see some of the prompts, especially now as we're heading towards Whip Warriors opening up for a new year. Try it out and see if you really like it. Then get ready at sometime, I want to say to late November is when they usually open it up, and you can join. And for that, so that's also some plans. And then I looked in my list of what I had given myself at the start in January of different things I might start every month. So I did not get to my the alphabet, the Erica Michaels, I believe it was. I just starting something this week with company and people. It wasn't happening, and I was just enjoying pulling out my projects. So that was it for starts in August. I didn't have that many. Probably, if I look at my book, and I have a stitching, this is my stitching kind of planner, my Commit 30, and I put so much in here, including a section with starts and finishes and all of that. And in the month of August, it says I started 2. I'm almost sure I started 3. I wonder if I forgot one. I'll look at my other book, because then I have another book that gives like all of the things that I might have changed for colors and the date started and all of that. And I keep that. I've had that since 2020. But I've either had 2 or at the most 3 starts this month. Not very many. So I have 3 things that I was looking at that are potential starts for September. And I really like, I did pre-order the Jan Hicks Sunflower from Marketplace. And so that one, because there is a Sunflower September, is it Caroline Stitch Corner? I think she's hosting a stitch along. And I loved the pattern from I love Jan Hicks. And so that might get to be a start. We'll see. But then the other 3 that I was looking at, this is Sampler Seasons Autumn, and it is from Blueberry Ridge. I thought that was pretty. It's a monochromatic piece. I mean, obviously you can make it non-monochromatic if you wanted to. I'd have to decide fabric and floss. You know me, I like to kind of change things up a bit. But I thought that was kind of cool. And it's not huge. I mean, it's big enough. It's 183 by 124. So, but I thought that one would be a fun one. And then I have 2 modern folk embroideries. There was the Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler. And I would stitch it right to here. I wouldn't stitch the alphabets and numbers. So it would stop at the houses right there. I have no idea what colors I would do, but I really like that one. And then the second one is the Peacock Tree, also from Modern Folk. And I have a floss from Stitchy Stuff Co., a variegated, that I think I would use. I'm not sure what fabric I would use. And so I think I have to buy some more, though. I think I only have 1 skein. And that might be a fun one. But I thought this would be really cool to stitch too. I've looked at it and just thought it would be kind of a fun stitch. So that's also. So those are the 3 that you might see started in September. We will see, because next time I see you, it is September. And I know there's Sampler September. I mean, this is technically called Sampler Seasons. And then a Jane Austen sampler for the Real Comfort. If I'm not doing the alphabet, I don't know if you could call it a sampler. And I have a few other things, but I kind of just have so many other challenges that I don't know if I'm doing specifically Sampler September. Alrighty, shopping. I have only 1 piece that has come in, and it's my Fabric of the Month from Bestitchme. So if you do not want to see, please look away right now. I get the 18 count, and I am in the colors, not the neutrals. So I'm going to bring this up to show you what the color name is. So that's what it is. And I'm going to open it up. Actually, I'm going to open up the whole thing. And that's what it looks like. Isn't it pretty? So, different, when you look at it, different kind of shades that show up on one side versus the other, but really, really pretty. It is definitely a nicely modeled sort of fabric. But I'm going to put it down. So if you want to look back, you can. And so yeah, so that, I think there are ideas I could do with that. Nothing specific, but who knows? You know, it's nice to have it in the group. And as far as I know for now, I really do enjoy the fabric of the month from Bestitchme. So I'm just going to keep rolling with that one. All right, so that's it for shopping. For giveaways, I did want to remind 2 of the winners of the 1, 2, 3 stitch giveaway. Oops, no, I need to go in the pictures. Last week. Let's see here. We have, where are they? I want to make sure I get them right. There we go. J Thomas 739. I have not heard from you yet, or if you did reach out, somehow or other it didn't come all the way through. So please reach out. And then Christina Poindexter 4251. Christina, I haven't heard anything from you either. And again, I don't know. Like I said, sometimes things don't come through. I try to check spams and everything, but sometimes it falls through the cracks. So if either one of you could, both of you, if you could get back to me with your email address, that would be fantastic, so I can send you your gift card. All right, this week, picking the winner, the giveaway was for the Keeper of the Pins book from Brenda Gervais. And so I asked you to say the word pins. And, oh, I forgot to do a giveaway this week. Gosh darn it. Oh, well. It is the way it is. You'd think I looked at my notes. There was a reason why I didn't put my notes up. But this winner is Anne Mousseau. Anne 8757. Anne Mousseau 8757. Congratulations. If you get back to me with your address, there you go. I am wrapping up summer and the post office. So I know you may be wondering if you haven't gotten your giveaway. It's here. The Lindy Stitches, those were sent. So just let me know if you did not get it. My 2 Lindy Stitches winners. You don't need to tell me if you've gotten it, but if you did not get it, let me know so that I know to follow up on that one. But those did go out for digitals. And then I just have the actual physical post office, a really big pile to send out. The post office is going to, they're going to raise their eyebrows when they see me coming. So that's the giveaways. I don't have anything specifically right here that I could even just grab and say, let's do a giveaway. Oh, well. All right. Next week. We'll do it next week. So that's all the stitching. So if that's all you're here for, look at that. We're getting you out in less than an hour. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. I do have a book that I wanted to talk about. I figured since this was going to be shorter stitching, we would talk about the book and then talk about life. So I did get this one finished. My book club is next week, so I'm all set. Now, when I say it was a quick read, I do have to point out it is large print. I love reading large print. It makes it so quick to read. I am a fairly quick reader, but when you give me large print, and then this is also written to be a fairly quick-ish read as well, unless you're just trying to keep track of everything. This is called Holmes, Marple, and Poe, and it is from James Patterson and Brian Sitz. So they're co-writers on that. This is a fairly recent book. I think there is a second one. I do not know if it's actually been released yet as a book to read, or if just this one's been released. It basically, Holmes, Marple, and Poe are 3 private investigators, and they start a kind of a detective sort of agency in New York City, and they kind of clash with the police. In some cases, they kind of work with the police because they have in their life, it's very mysterious. We don't know a lot about them yet, but have acquired different skills and have got different people that are resources for them that maybe the police don't have. And so they might be able to get to something before the police do. I thought, and this was a little different than what I thought it would be. I thought it would be like one case and they would go through in the whole bit. It is not. It is juggling. I can't even tell you how many, 4, 5, 6, just kind of multiple cases as things kind of come up back and forth. I'm really glad I read it because I think I would myself, and I do have trouble with the digital audiobooks, listening to them sometimes and keeping things keeping track of them. I myself would have gotten kind of lost with the plot, I think, if I wasn't reading it. I do realize though too, I was thinking about it as a kid in school, I was a visual learner. So in order for me to learn stuff, and I would study for a test by like rewriting my notes and making other notes and everything like that. So I can see why when I read something, I retain a lot more. When I listen, I don't necessarily retain as much, which is why I prefer, I think, the written books to the audiobooks. But that depends really on you. I do feel like I would have struggled audio-wise on this. Overall, I thought it was good. I think they're setting themselves up for more to happen in the next books. And I don't know if that's part of why so much happened. And they definitely left it open for more books kind of thing. I mean, you could certainly see it being easily a series and just have them solving different things and so on and so forth. But overall, in the sense of an easy read, it's not too deep, fairly quick, on the quicker side read. The chapters are short, very short actually. I'm curious how it would be, because in the large print, they're only 4 pages, say 4 pages long, most of the chapters. So in that case, that one's only 3 pages. So, I don't know how they must not do as many chapters in the regular book, because otherwise regular print would be like 1 page for a chapter. So that makes a quick and easy read too, because you're kind of jumping from chapter to chapter. There's over 100 chapters in this, 117-ish or so. But again, that might be because it's the large print. So I would say if you want, kind of a lighter read, it's considered mystery. And if you get the large print, I think it'll really work. So I would recommend it. Wasn't quite what I was expecting, but I still did enjoy it in the end. Okay, so that's my book that I've read. I don't know what next month's book club book is. I'll find out on Tuesday at the meeting. So we'll discuss this on Tuesday, and I know the books are already decided, but I just didn't look. So once I grab that, if you want to read along in the month of September with me with that book club, then you're more than welcome to. Okay, life. We've had my in-laws down all week, so they go back tomorrow to Connecticut. The girl Megan and Liz came down over the weekend, this past weekend. So they were here for a couple days to visit with my in-laws and us and everything. And it was really nice. We brought everybody for the acai bowls, and we went to the beach and the boardwalk, and we had a breakfast, and we did some dinner out, and the weather was beautiful, and it was just nice, kind of sitting and relaxing wherever and just chatting. My in-laws are pretty low key, so they've enjoyed just kind of hanging out and sitting outside and enjoying the weather. It got really warm the middle of the week. Yeah, the middle of the week. And so it got a little bit too humid, but for the most part, it was very temperate and really nice. And you're able to spend some time outside and just get some fresh air. And they just like to kind of chill and relax and hang out. So it's been really fun. So there's that. And then now we've got Labor Day weekend coming. Mo's got Monday off. I'm sure he might be playing pickleball. We'll see if there's Monday pickleball. I don't know, because it's a holiday, but he's just enjoying that and doing that. He took this week off. And so, of course, it's great because they have sessions when he's normally working. So he was able to jump in and do some of that as well. So he's had a ball. But yeah, it's just been kind of just a people week. And like I said, I got the stitching done, but not as much as I would necessarily. But it's been fun. And then September, our weekends a few of them are busier. So it will be kind of an active sort of month, which summer was pretty quiet. So that'll be fun and interesting and different. It's different stuff that we're doing. So I'll bring you along with me while we do some September stuff. And I can't believe we're rolling into the last quarter of the year, the last 4 months. October is always fun with all of our pumpkins. And yeah. So my foot's doing pretty good. I am in the shoe. Yesterday I did 8 hours in my sneakers, so yay. And I saw the physical therapist yesterday, and he said, yeah, you know, hopefully next time I see you, you're spending all day, you know, keep the other shoe thing in case I get tired or I overdo it somehow or other. But for the most part, let's transition out of that and just stay in my sneakers all day. So hopefully that will be the case. And I'm working on my exercises. Range of motion's looking pretty good. I'm not able to walk more than a couple minutes yet, but I'm feeling better on waking up, and the hip and the back and the sciatic area are less cranky, so that is a positive. And I just keep doing my exercises, I promise. And yeah, so we're just plugging along on that as well. That's always part of my day too. And the better I get, it seems like there's more exercises to do, so there's always got to carve that time out for your exercises. And so that's about it. If you are in the States and you have a 3-day weekend coming up, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, whatever happens to be happening with you. I hope you are well. I hope you're safe. You know, get in either the last bit of summer, or if you are a winter person on the other part of the world, get in the end part of your winter, right? As our seasons get ready to change. I am a bit of a disaster sinus-wise. End of August is always bad for me. So hopefully I wasn't too sniffly or whatever, because I've been noticing the last couple weeks, you know, just a little bit more congested than I normally am. And it's funny, come September, that'll start to ease a little bit, and then I'll only be a little congested. But this time of year, for whatever reason, you always think, okay, it's still summer. It shouldn't be till fall when things change, but my sinuses don't like the end of August. So hopefully we'll just, whatever's floating around out there, hopefully it starts to go down and I start to feel better there. And that's about it, really. So yay, we're going to come in less than an hour. I know you're going to be shocked when you see the time of this one, because I don't think I've done this for a regular video in a long, long time. But I'm excited. I already have plans for next week's stitching and fun stuff to talk about and to do. So we'll just leave it at that. Until next time, happy stitching.